Good morning, good afternoon, happy Wednesday to everybody who's joining us today. My name is Tim Watts. I'm an annuity sales director over here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services, otherwise known as IMS. I'm joined today by Jennifer Biscamp from IMS, Senior Sales Director, as well as Kent Jackway, founder of Alyzer. We are super excited to learn. Actually, I'm learning with everybody on the presentation today about the new updates to the ReviewAlyzer. This is a powerful tool where you can utilize this program to help show your clients why refinancing that underperforming annuity is a good option there for them. Before we turn it over to Kent and the Alyzer crew, we do have a few things that we wanted to share about IMS and why other agents love working with us. We'll have a few poll questions as well as opportunities for you to ask questions at the end. So if you do have any questions as they come up, just toss them in that questions box and we'll get those answered there at the end. First thing I want to highlight is our dedicated our commitment to best-in-class customer service, and one of the ways we start that off is answering your phone calls with a trained live person. So when you give us a buzz, you don't have to worry about dial-by-name directories, leaving a message, somebody's on vacation for 3 weeks. We're going to get you taken care of right away, hopefully in one transfer or less. So with that being said, I'm going to turn the floor over to Jennifer. She's going to talk about a few programs that agents love utilizing and why it might be a good reason for you to come over here and work with us at IMS. Jennifer, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Tim. Starting off with our new producer builders. Our new producer builders program is for those of you who are new to IMS. These bonuses are available based on your production level in your first 180 days of contracting with us. We have different levels that you can qualify at, and as you can see, inside each level are some great options for you. We've got incredible business building tools, personal perks for you, and even cash rewards available. If you'd like to know where you stand towards your new producer builder, or if you would like to have a conversation about how to achieve this next level, give us a call. The next slide is our IMS Business Builders program that we provide for our agents. It's our referred producer program. I see a couple of advisors on with us today that have already taken advantage of this program. Our business is on the wholesale side of the industry. It's similar to yours in the field in that one of the best leads we can ever obtain is a referral from one of our valued producers. This is why we want to make it worth your while to refer a producer to us. When you do refer a producer and they get contracted, we're going to cut you a $50 thank you check. Where the real money comes in, though, is as your referral writes business, you're going to receive an override on that business. So our ownership team are cutting checks for thousands of dollars every quarter. If you can think of anyone that could benefit from doing business with our team, please type their information into that questions box, or you can certainly send us an email with their information. Below that referral producer program is our marketing dollars program, which is the most popular program that we offer here at IMS. For every 100,000 in FIA premium, you're going to get $100 into your marketing reimbursement account. Why this is so popular and lucrative for our advisors is that we truly do consider this to be your money. You have the flexibility on what services and when and who to use these funds with. It is your marketing reimbursement. We don't tell you what vendors you have to use. We do recommend vendors, though, that we partner with and leverage reduced rates and preferred service. We also have our creative team here to create a marketing strategy and provide in-house services. If you'd like to know how much is in your marketing reimbursement account or have a conversation about how to utilize it, just give your sales director a call here over at the office and we'd love to talk with you about that. Our back office support team is another way that we add value to your business. This is the core of IMS and how Charles Herring founded IMS years ago. We want to help the independent advisor work smarter, not harder. So we are going to do that with our great business building tools and resources, and of course, our advanced case design assistance. We assist with life and annuity quotes. We're going to get you those illustrations that you can request within 24 hours. Submission to commission support is handled by our new business teams. Mackenzie heads up the annuity team and Michelle's on the life side. They have fantastic teams who work tirelessly every day to help you get your commission quicker. We're also going to scrub applications, submit them on your behalf, and do the administrative tracking and get you updates on those cases as needed. We do this to ensure that you do get commissioned as quickly as possible. This is a service that we provide to all of our valued producers, and it's a way that we help you grow your business by keeping you in front of your clients while our team handles that back office support for you. Our website is a great tool for our producers to use, and another reason to work over here at IAMS. Once you're contracted, you're going to have full access to everything you see on this slide. There's so much more at imsinc.com. If you haven't registered for our website, it is very simple to do so. When you're done with this, go ahead and give us a call and create an account. We'd love to see you on there. There are a lot of great resources that are available to you, including illustration tools, online forms, product grids, news, industry updates, all there for you. Technology is where the industry is going. Luma is our newest partnership to streamline the application process. Most of our carriers are now on our Luma Firelight e-platform, so you can go on to one site and submit business. Are going to e-app only for some of their product lines and will also offer extra comp for utilizing the e-platform. Make sure that you ask your sales director before you submit a paper app, because you can earn extra money by just completing and submitting it through e-app. We do have a full in-house creative team to help your business. We have turnkey items available out there for you. Many of our sales resources are white labeled, so we can simply impose your contact information and your business logos onto it. Speaking of logos, if you haven't created a full customized brand for you and your agency, we can certainly help you with that through Agency Solutions. Name recognition grows your natural market organically. Digital marketing solutions are a very popular topic around here at IAMS. We can help you with your websites, social media marketing, email marketing, and so much more. The internet and social media sites are where the overwhelming majority of prospects go for information, so making sure you are accessible and represented in those marketing lanes is very beneficial to growing your business. Reach out to me when this webinar concludes to talk about how you can access the IAMS Creative, and we can certainly get that ball rolling for you. We also offer complimentary marketing analysis for agents to explore new sales ideas and programs. So whether you're new to the industry or a seasoned producer, this free assessment can help you boost your business with insights on your website, digital presence, branding, and current marketing activities, as well as recommendations on trusted vendors for everything from lead generation to seminars and social content. Reach out to your sales director to get started. And then I'm going to send it
Awesome.
back
Thank
over to
you,
you,
Jen.
Tim.
Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it. Our IAMS Wealth Management has been a great growth sector for us over here at IAMS. We founded them 6 years ago. What we've done is grow this division of IAMS very organically. We've helped advisors pass the Series 65 and become IARs at a very successful rate. If you haven't added assets under management to your practice, we'd love to talk to you about that. Give one of us a call after this webinar concludes, and we can get you all set up with the team over there. We just finalized our actual registration link for our next Life and Annuity Academy. This is going to be August 20th through the 22nd. We'll have this at our home office here in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, we do cover all of your expenses for these academies, and I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll here. That is, would you like some more information about this academy? And let me just tell you a little bit about it. So we'll have room for about 35 to 40 agents to come out. We cover all of your expenses, including cost of airfare, hotel, food, entertainment, shuttles. Once you hop on that plane, you're our guest, because we want you to be able to focus on those over 20 presenters that we're going to be bringing in to talk to you about marketing strategies that'll help differentiate you and get you in front of those clients, product deep dives, as well as my personal favorite, which is our advanced sales concepts, where we teach you new and innovative ways to utilize annuities and life insurance for your clients. Appreciate everybody who participated in that poll. We'll have a couple more here throughout the rest of the presentation, so definitely would love to see even more folks jump on that next poll. Again, this will be August 20th through the 22nd in Omaha. Those carrier sponsors are going to be Equitrust and American National, so two great carriers to work with as well on that. Next is we're finalizing and almost to the end there of our 18-month qualification for Trek to Quebec. Don't worry, we're going to start a new 18-month qualification as soon as this one's over. Looks like we're going to have over 60 agents plus their guest going out to Quebec here in just a few weeks. Super excited for everybody on that. If you are close to qualifying or haven't got that confirmation that you are qualified, give your sales director a call. We also have two other trips that you can qualify for right now. One is our Park City, Utah trip, and then we have a Cap Cana in Dominican Republic trip going as well. So 3 trips that you could be qualifying for just submitting business over here to us at IAMS. Lastly, if you haven't followed us on Facebook or connected on LinkedIn, this is a great way to stay connected with industry updates, rate announcements, plus a lot more. We're going to make sure that we keep you all informed on that. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and give the presenter power over to Kent Jackway. Super excited for him to join in today and to learn about what's new with Alyzer over there with the ReviewAlyzer section of your program. So Kent, I can see your camera and I can see your screen, sir. Super excited to hear about what you have to update us on today. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, guys. So I'm guessing that we probably have some people that have used ReviewAlyzer on the call today and some that have not. So I'm going to run through one of the case studies that we use a lot of times to kind of make you familiar with ReviewAlyzer, and then we're going to show you a couple of updates that we've made to the system to hopefully make it a lot easier for you to use. We are constantly updating things, trying to make it better. We listen. That's one of the key things about our entire company here at the Index Resource Center. We listen to you guys. A lot of the stuff that we do all comes from agents saying, hey, can you make it do this? Can you make it do that? So we're very, very big on, taking your thoughts, your suggestions, and making them happen. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in here to Alyzer. We're going to go into the review business section, and then we're going to jump into a case here. So this is ReviewAlyzer, and what I want to do is show you exactly how this works. And first of all, I want to tell you why this is so important to your business. Guys, I speak all over the nation. Every year, usually once, sometimes twice a month, I am speaking in front of agents. I've spoken at the IAMS Academy, I think 6 times now, 5 or 6 times. But I also speak at big events. I mean, thousands of agents I'm in front of every year. And I always ask the question about allocations. How do you allocate your index annuities? All right. What methods are you using? Are you all theory based? Do you just go into the S&P 500? What are you using for those allocation decisions? And I never get any takers. I ask, I'll actually sometimes put up on the screen, the allocation page of an app and say, who wants to come up here and tell me how they would allocate this? Nobody wants to do it, okay? Because it's a big mystery. Let's just be honest with everybody here. It's a mystery, and nobody really has a good theory or anything about how to do it. Now, the reason I say that is you can use that to your advantage. There are a lot of clients out there walking around with index annuities, especially index annuities that were bought between 2015 and 2021, when 5-year treasury rates were at their lowest. Well, all treasury rates were at their lowest, meaning that every annuity bought during that time frame is not performing well. I have seen over 500 statements of cases that were bought during that time. Nobody's making more than 3% right now. Nobody is. And during that time frame, the industry as a whole sold over $474 billion of annuities. So right now, out there, all over the country, wherever you are, in your city, there are people walking around with index annuities that are not performing. And even if they bought, outside of that time frame and they're doing okay, they're making 3, 4, or 5. Guys, if you can learn how to analyze existing index annuities, you could get business like you would never believe. All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is ask. In any social setting, any marketing program, workshop, whatever you're doing, ask these people if they've ever bought an index annuity, and then offer a free service to do an analysis on how they've got their indexes set up. Because the one thing that we're going to teach you today is we have a method. It's called data. It's called historical data. And so what we're going to do here, and I need to real quick, sorry, I just noticed that I didn't have my computer plugged in. So let me get this guy plugged in real quick here so I don't get kicked off the webinar. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, so inside of ReviewAlyzer, you have a list of all your cases. Okay, so once you get all your cases put in, you get basically a case management system with this as well. So it's going to be organized based on the month and day. So the one at the top is going to be your next case coming up for review. So it's going to totally organize your book of business. So I'm going to go ahead and go into this case down here, Todd H. So this case is an old Athene case purchased in 2019. So it's in that time frame. And you can see here, based on their allocations, they've got 173 sitting here in the Morgan Stanley. It's only doing 2.21. Then they got 150 down here in Janus, and that's only doing 1.76. So this older product is not doing well. And this is an actual case statement. It's from this case right here. So when we go in and do an analysis on this, and guys, all you have to do is enter everything in from the statement, and boom, you've got this analysis. It's going to break down every single index that they're in, and it does a few things that are going to make you an absolute expert on index annuities. It's going to answer the question of why. The clients want to know, why are they not making money? Okay, they were sold this index annuity thinking that, hey, I'm gonna, make better than the fixed rates out there. I'm gonna, I've got these guarantees, it's safe, but I'm gonna be in these indexes and I'm gonna make, maybe 7-8%. Well, if they looked at the illustrations, okay, which, by the way, illustrations are very, very, very wrong. The way that just fundamentally, the way they're set up, the way they're using their back testing is wrong. We can talk about that here in a minute, but they probably saw an illustration that said 8, 9, or 10%, and this is what they're making too, and they're not happy. And you guys can use this to your advantage, because you can come out here and do an analysis that says, okay, how do fixed index annuities grow? Well, it all starts with, where were fixed rates when they bought? Where were those treasury rates? Because when you think about the flow of money, when the client gives their money to the insurance company is going to put that into a fixed asset, a bond, a treasury, something guaranteed. Then they're going to take the interest off of that fixed asset, and they're going to go into the options market, and they're going to buy options that back these indexes. They're going to buy calls for the growth, and then they're going to hedge with puts. That's how this whole thing works. So the whole start of this is, how much interest do they have to go into the options market? And that comes from the treasury or the bond that they bought for the fix. That's what creates that guarantee, is the money that goes in the fix. So what ReviewAlyzer does here is it'll show you on a chart, this red line is when that purchase was made. And look where 5-year treasuries were at the lowest point in the last 10 years. There's our first clue. Guys, understand, you're not trying to convince these clients that they're not making money. They already know they're not making money. You're just trying to answer that question, why? Well, this is our first clue. You bought when rates were so low. That means that your par rates, your cap rates, your spread rates were really low. Okay. Now, we had no idea, if you were the original agent of the case, you had no idea the treasuries were going to spike like this. No idea. We didn't know that was going to be the lowest point. So making the purchase back then, obviously 474 billion went in. A lot of people wanted the index, they wanted the safety, but they just happened to buy at the worst time in the last 10 years, actually one of the worst times in history. So now we can break down the different, actually, I'm going to go back here. I think I was messing around with this. Let's see. Yeah, this actually is supposed to be the BNP Paribas. And this is, I didn't switch this back. This is actually the MAV 5. So let's make that change. What I just demonstrated to you, what we're going to talk about here in a second, the new enhancements we've made to ReviewAlyzer. Okay, now let's go into the analysis. Now we've got the right one in there. So this person was allocated. So everywhere they're allocated, you're going to get a chart showing the historical movement of that index and the crediting over the last 10 years. So you can see that we did pretty good right away, and then it dropped back and it just kind of stayed level. So that's the second clue of why they're not making money. They had a good run up here in the first year, but ever since then, they've had very little movement. They had a 0 that year, next to nothing, a little bit better that year, not too bad, but then a 0 again. Let's look at their next allocation, the Janus. Same thing. Went pretty good in the first year and then just tanked. So this one's pretty easy to evaluate, but having this on the screen, having that the clients see a visual of what is actually happening inside their index annuity, this is going to win them over to you big time. But we go further. Again, we don't just want to make you, anybody can show charts. We want to make you an expert. So now let's take a look at this MAV 5. We had this run up here, but what happened historically on the volatility of that index? Only software company that shows this. The volatility controls the rates. All right. Whenever you see volatility spike up, that's going to signal more than likely a rate drop for the next year. And if it goes down, you would think that they would raise rates. But, insurance companies, how these things work, we hardly ever see rates going up. So there was a spike down. Now the MAV 5's done, or a spike down. So that one would have been, so now the MAV 5 volatility over the last few years. So the rates have just been obliterated for this client. They started bad, and now they're seeing rate drops like crazy. Look at the Janus. The Janus, same thing. We had a spike and then down a little bit, spike again. Now they probably didn't have a rate drop there, but now it spiked again, so they're going to get another big rate drop. Bottom line is, I just analyzed what's going on in this annuity and why they're not making money. And the bottom line is, they need to reallocate. They need to get their money in a better position. And ReviewAlyzer will literally tell you, based on historical data, where they should have their money, exactly how they should have it allocated. It gives you different options. It'll show you the optimal one up here in the top left. It'll show you their current down here, and it'll give different options. The bottom line is, you just showed them something that original agent, whoever sold them their policy, probably never even talked about in a review. I mean, obviously they're still sitting here with this allocation. So now you just brought huge value to this client, and you just set yourself as an expert in the industry. And that's what's going to win over these people. So on the analysis at the bottom, you actually see these recommendations. So the first recommendation is look to reallocate. The second recommendation is upgrade to a new annuity. It's not you telling them to do that, it's the software. So you're going to get this recommendation on any case that's 4 years old or older. Okay. So basically, it says based upon fixed rates being lower when you initially purchase the annuity than they currently are, and with the knowledge that the industry has added 88 new indexes since the year you purchased. Let me talk about that for a second. That number is going to change based on whatever year you put in as the issue date. Okay, and it's all based off of this chart right here. So what we did is we took the time to go back through and see how many indexes were being used in the fixed annuity and IUL. So any fixed index product throughout time. So if we look at 2019, there were 116. 2024, 204. That's where the 88 comes from. So why is that important? Well, because we're going to show you here when we look at a new product, when we look to upgrade this, why the new product is doing so much better. Because the idea here, guys, is we're going to look at 10-year historical returns. When you plug in each of your allocations here, it's going to calculate the 10-year historical term based on the renewal rate. So we're looking at the last 10 years from yesterday's close back. So when we go to this new annuity section, we want to look at the exact same 10-year period so we can do an apples to apples comparison. So we're going to go ahead and throw in, and I'll just, since it's there, you can pick whatever product you want. We'll just go ahead and do the Synergy Choice Bonus 10. I'm going to put a 30% drawdown on. Let me talk about drawdown. Earlier, I said illustrations are wrong. Illustrations are not giving you accurate numbers. I mean, you guys, you might think, okay, there is something wrong. You've seen some illustrations look pretty weird. Well, I'm going to tell you why. Okay, number one, they're not accounting for rate drops. When they run their historical back testing, they're using today's rates. So let's use par rate as our example. So they're using today's par rate up against the last 10 years. And they're using that rate every year for those 10 years. We know there's no way that would happen. Okay. Now, with some good volatility control, it could happen. But more than likely, there were rate drops during the last 10 years. Okay. That's what the drawdown simulates. So everybody asks me, well, which one do we use? Which one do we use? There is no concrete answer for that. You got human interference. You got people sitting at these carriers making decisions. We have no way to track that, especially on indexes that haven't been around for 10 years. We can simulate it. So we give you 3 levels, a 15, a 30, and a 60. For ReviewAlyzer, I always say just use the 30. It's right in the middle of the road. If you can show a 60 and it still shows great numbers, show it. Because the higher you go, the more valid your back test is going to be. So we also use what's called retro pricing. Retro pricing says, okay, well, illustrators are using today's rates up against the last 10 years. Well, that can't happen. Think about it. If I would have bought this strategy or this annuity 10 years ago, I wouldn't have had today's rates. Today's rates mean nothing to me. I need to know what the rates were 10 years ago. Okay, well, how can you find that out, Kent? I mean, these indexes were created in 2022, 2023, 2024. How do you know where par rates were 10 years ago? That is where math comes in, guys. It's really not that hard. It's just you got to understand how it all works. What we do is, first of all, the historical returns. If the index was created in, let's say, 2023, when we plug in the index return, the historical returns into our system, we're getting that data from the index. Because if the index is a rules-based index, where 99% of the indexes in index annuities are rules-based, they can take those rules and apply them prior to the launch date of the index. So they know exactly what would have happened had this been launched 10 years ago or 20 years ago, however far back they want to go. So they actually send us all their closing prices all the way back to, a lot of times, 2002 for some reason. I don't know why they go back to 2002, but that's what they do. So we know the historical movement of the index. So knowing that, we can take how they price that par rate today, lock in everything, every product feature cost, the options cost, all the costs, we can lock it in. And then we take out all the economic data, the bond price, the treasury price. the volatility calculation. We take that out and we go back 10 years and we look at that same bond, we look at that same treasury, we plug in where the rates were back then, and then we recalculate volatility as if we were back then, plug it in, and it tells us exactly where those rates would have been. So we know where par rates would have been 10 years ago. We're the only software that does that. So now you can actually give a back test that is a back test. This is what would have happened if you'd have bought it 10 years ago. So we turn that on, we add the new annuity in, and then what happens is it gives us the 10-year historical returns on each of the options inside the product. You can do a quick allocation mix here. I'll just do 25, 25, 25, 25 in the top four. And then I go to my comparison. Oh, I made a mistake. Hold on a second. Let me go back here. Change annuity. I didn't put in the surrender value. I did that on purpose, you think. So the surrender value is going to default to 100,000. Look at the statement and put in the actual surrender value. Now we'll get everything in, add new annuity, do our allocation. And now we can look at our comparison. The chart will look right. So now we've just broken down the same 10-year time period for that new annuity against the current one with the renewal rates. Now, those renewal rates are obviously a lot lower, but that's why we use the 30% drawdown. We're using renewal rates in our 10.49 calculation as well. So this is where the 88 new indexes comes in, guys. Why is the new product so much better? Because the industry's better. Plain and simple. You know, the indexes that they're creating today, these 88 new indexes that were created since 2019, they're not going to create indexes that are worse than the ones they created, 10 years ago. Not at all. They're going to create better indexes. They're constantly, I work with these people I'd say on a weekly basis. I'm talking to them. I actually help them with the design of some of their indexes. And I'm just telling you, the indexes today are so much better. And this proves it, because this is the exact same 10-year time period. So now what you're showing the client is, okay, you've got $323,193 in your account. If we were to just reallocate you, we could take you from this 2.31 up to 3.68. So in other words, go from the red line to the blue line. But obviously, you want to be in the green line. That's where you want to be. So to get to that green line, here's what's going to have to happen. Your 323 is going to have to be surrendered, which you're going to pay $5,651 or a 1.75 surrender charge. So that means we're going to bring over $317,542 to the new product. You're going to pick up a 15% bonus. In other words, $47,631 is going to get added to your surrender value. So on the green line, you're actually starting higher on the green line and making more interest. It's a slam dunk, guys. It literally is. And so all you have to do is everybody you meet, social settings, you see somebody that's of age that would own an index annuity, just ask them if they've ever bought one. And then just say, listen, I do a free analysis, because inside those index annuities, you got a lot of choices that you can do with your money. And what I do is I help people make sure that they're getting the optimal performance out of their index annuity. But what it's going to lead to, guys, is you're going to go through this analysis, show them why they're not making money. And then when you get to that reallocation plan, the reallocation plan is not real desirable either. A 3.68 optimal, I mean, you can play around with the reallocation. So we have this custom that's going to break it down and just go 10% into the top 10, or if there's less than 10 options, it'll just distribute it evenly. You can change that up here. You can do your own custom allocate. You'll see the historical returns of each one, and you can do any kind of allocation mix you want and try to get better than the optimal. But still, you're not going to improve it by that much. You're still going to be in that mid 3, sometimes low 3 spot, even with the reallocation. Because again, the biggest problem with this annuity bought in 2019 is right here. They bought when rates were low, because again, they had that tiny percentage coming out of the fixed asset going to the options market, and they just didn't have that many. That's going to set a really low par, really low cap, really high spread. So the idea here, guys, is you are going to have the power to show that you are an expert, and this is why people want to work with you. because of this data. Is there a lot of education in this? No. All you have to do is take that statement, all right, and enter all these numbers and indexes into the system. That's all you have to do. Here's how hard it is. All right, I'm going to delete this one, this bottom one here, and I'm going to re-enter it in. This is how easy it is to enter. You're just going to hit add FIA method, and then you're going to put in how much is allocated. And this was a 2-year reset. It was the Janus Market Consensus 2, point to point, no fee. It had an 85% par last year. This year it has a 70. That's it, done. Method is added. So now I've got all my numbers. That's it. That's all you have to do. And then pick your new annuity. Other than that, the analysis is done for you. The reallocation plan is done for you, except for if you want to do a custom. And then also rate drops. You know, if clients ask you, and you guys have been on review appointments, and they say, you know, why are my rates going down? Why are my rates going down? This explanation page will actually show you why rates are going down. The real reason, it looks at the bond market, the treasury, the volatility, the stuff that really matters to those rates moving, the exact stuff. It's not, oh, it's the economy's bad. Oh, inflation's high. Yeah, no, guys, stop saying that stuff. This gives you the exact answers to why. So that's how ReviewAlyzer works. And now I want to show you some of the new features that we've added. So a lot of times, you know, I know agents. Like I said, I've worked at 7 different FMOs in my career. I speak to thousands of agents. You guys, you sell the same product over and over and over again. Okay, you get comfortable with one, which is great. Nothing wrong with that at all. So when you're going to add in all your cases, you know, it's a lot of data entry. You know, if you just plow through it in the beginning, then you're going to be golden. You'll be ready to go. But we've made something a little easier here. So this Todd H, this is the case we just looked at. Well, let's say I've got another client that bought that same annuity. Well, now you can go out here and hit this blue duplicate button. It clones the case. And now you can go in and you just cloned it. So now you just go into it and you just change it. But you don't have to enter in all the indexes and everything. So you just go in here and you edit the name. Let's say this was Mary, and her last name begins with J, and theme PE10, change the policy number, the last 4 in the policy number, put in the issue date and the state, update it, and then you just go through. Then all you have to do is update the rates. Now, in the past, you would have to actually hit this edit button. But now we have where you can actually inline just click on here and you can change the rate to 80 and just hit the check mark and it will adjust. So it's so much easier to add a new case in now and make rate changes. You don't have to go in and do all the extra clicks to go in and actually edit it. You can change the allocations amount. So let's say this client, you know, they had 0 allocated here. And we'll save that. And let's say they had money in this one down here. There we go. Let's say they had money in here. They had 245,000, whatever. So it's just a lot easier to utilize the total program now. And it's so much quicker to get a case in there. So that's the kind of things that we're constantly thinking about with ReviewAlyzers. How can we make this easier to use and allow you to get all your cases in so you can have your book managed? I mean, when you get to this point, when you got all your cases in, guys, oh, it's a dream. I mean, you'll never miss a review. You know when your reviews are coming up. Let's talk about real quick here, the white backgrounds versus the green. If it's a white background, that means that you sold this case, you know, either 3 to 4 years ago. Okay, so it's really not prime for replacement yet. If it has a green background, that means it's ready to be replaced because it's more than 4 years old. So that allows you to do some really cool things. You can start planning. I can look here. Oh, look at my January coming up here, guys. I've got 3 greens, 475, 190, 147. I'm going to replace more than likely every one of those annuities. Okay. I know that's going to happen in January. So in February, I'm going to get a pretty big commission check. So what I might do is start saying, okay, I want to build my business. So in February, when I get all this money, I'm going to plan a marketing event. I'm going to carve out, some of this commission and throw it into a workshop, or I'm going to buy some leads. I'm going to, whatever. I can plan my business out. I did your job. I raised 6 kids off of selling index annuities. I know what it means that you only eat if you kill. And you're constantly looking for that next sale, constantly looking for that next sale. Have no idea January 1st how much money you're going to make this year. Okay. With this, you can go through and add up all your greens for the next 12 months, take it times 4 or 5% to account for surrender values. You got an idea what your base salary is for next year, because more than likely you're going to replace every one of these green ones. Because if they're more than 4 years old, they were sold 2021 back to 2015. And again, every index annuity sold during that time frame needs to be replaced because they're not making money because of that treasury. So this gives you an unbelievable management tool. So those are the updates that we have. If you want to get this program, okay, let's talk about that for a second. You'll go out to indexalyzer.com/IMS. And it's going to bring you right here. You'll see the IMS logo there. Now, let's talk about the 2 different programs. The marketer stuff, that's for IMS employees only. So you have your starter it's only $25 a month, guys. But understand that you're getting the basic version of ReviewAlyzer. You do not get that analysis tool, and you do not get the ability to save your cases. It's basically just a calculator. If you go up to ReviewAlyzer Pro, which is $100 a month, you get everything. That gives you the full version of Alyzer. And understand that is a deep discount because of IMS. Okay, so normally the starter is $99 a month, and then it's an extra $150 to add on ReviewAlyzer Pro. So the starter becomes $25 with IMS, and it's only $75 to add the Pro. So that's how it gets you down to just $100 a month. Guys, think about this for a second. $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year. Do you think this ReviewAlyzer program will find you a $20,000 annuity? If it does, then you're already in the money. You're already making money on the program. That's how much value is in this. Plus, you don't just get ReviewAlyzer, guys. You get the whole suite of programs. If you're going out and let's say you met a client in a marketing event and you want to sell them American Equity, you can go into indexalyzer and get all your allocations you need. You just simply go in here, put in your case data, choose American Equity. Let's say you sold the Asset Shield 10. There we go. I think it's already set on that. Yeah, Asset Shield 10. Put in a drawdown, turn on retro pricing, view your report, and you've got all the data you need to allocate this annuity. You got descriptions of each of the indexes. You got the performance history ranked by top to bottom. And then you've got your diversification optimizer. So you literally print this out, put it in front of the client, say pick. And then you also have an affidavit because, if you watch the product training on a lot of these guys, you really aren't allowed to pick the indexes for your clients. Okay, that opens up a door if this ever went to litigation that the carrier doesn't want you to go through. Okay, so they want the client to make this decision, but then they don't give you any way to prove that happened. Well, we do. So you can print this affidavit, get it signed. It basically says the client represents that they are using the information in this report to assist them in making their own allocation decisions. Okay. Guys, will this hold up in court? Don't know. But I would rather walk in with a signed affidavit from the client saying that I made the choices other than the agent. So we give you that option on every single report. You also get inside of here the ability to see the top 50 in every state. That's what ReviewAlyzer is. You also can pull a chart on every single index. And the charts are actually really cool. It doesn't just give you a 10-year chart. It does that. But it also gives you how did that index do against what we call the indexalyzer average, which is the average movement of every index that we track that's inside of fixed index annuities, RILAs, FIA or IULs. So every other index is baked into that black line. So you get to see, is this an above average index? Is it an average index? Is it a below average index? Then you also get to see how the index competes with equities and bonds. We put it up against the S&P 5 for the benchmark on the equities and the Bloomberg US Ag for the bonds. So there's so much data in here. Then also for your clients that just love CDs, they want a traditional fixed annuity or a bond, you can go into ReviewAlyzer, and that will actually compare any index annuity up against a bond, a CD, or a MIGA, all at the same time actually. So lots of information. You got all the MIGA rates out here. Secondary annuities are out here as well, but just a ton of information. And then you've got the resource section. The resource section is going to give you just unbelievable data. You really need to get in the weeds on an index. Okay, you can pull every index fact sheet from our library. They're all out here. You want to see what is the canopy from Goldman Sachs. You've got that data right at your fingertips. So there's just an amazing amount of information on this system. I mean, the resource, there's tons more. I'll let you guys just go ahead and click around in there. One last thing before we end. In the new business section, actually two last things. You also have this catalog for the FMO, the stuff that IAMS can do for you that you can't do, specialized custom reports. They can run this. They have an upgraded version of Indexalyzer that they use to give you unbelievable comparisons, all kinds of data. You can click through and see all those reports that you can order from IAMS. And then last thing is with your subscription, okay, if you sign up, you're going to get a 30-day free trial. Now, what we suggest you do with that 30-day free trial is use it inside of our Ultimate FIA Sales course. Okay, there's a code. Once you get a subscription, there's a code on the front page here, this sub 100. You plug that in, it'll waive the $499 fee, and you get an actual course. It's got 7 different modules, 25 lessons in it, and they're interactive. It's all video based. You do it on your own time. It's all interactive, and you will do different tasks inside the course utilizing the different products. So you'll actually get a chance to use them with me telling you exactly how to do it. So it's an amazing course. Like I said, with the subscription, it's free and it's available right now. So that's what you can use that 30-day free trial, is to go out here and take this and understand that you can, use this in your business, because you're going to see it right there using the examples that we put in the course. So again, guys, sign up today and you will have a chance to severely impact your business. There are clients walking around out there with the index annuities. Analyze them, show them why they need to work with you and get their business. And then the rest of your business, this will help you as well. And then anything above that, you got IAMS. You got IAMS. Honestly, guys, I work with a lot of FMOs, and I don't just say it's because I'm on an IAMS webinar right now, guys. You made a great choice. This is one of the top shelf organizations in the industry. Okay, and I'm saying that as a third party guy that has nothing to gain by it. I know FMOs. These are great people. The only FMO in the country I've ever worked with or ever just contacted, and I get a live person every time I call. That is valuable. That is so valuable, because when you need stuff, you need stuff. Okay, you don't need to wait for a callback. You don't need to wait. You're going to talk to somebody and they're going to get stuff done. And now you have a deep discount on what I think is the best software in the industry, not because of how the software works, but because of what comes out of it. You're not going to get retro pricing anywhere else in the industry. So in other words, if you just go off the illustrations or other software programs, you're not showing what really happened. We're showing you what really happened. This is going to give you a huge advantage in your business. All right, that's pretty much all I had, Tim. So
awesome. Thank you, Kent. Super excited about the new updates to the functionality, being able to just click in there and update right away. Every less click that you have to do gives you an opportunity to be, doing something else that's more value added. So having that streamlined in this web-based form is awesome. We do have a couple of minutes here for questions. So if anybody's got any questions, it doesn't look like I've got any right now, but I'll give you just another moment or two. So as a reminder, sign up today. We'll get the replay of the webinar sent out, as well as a link to where to go to sign in. You get 30 days for free. You've got that FIA sales course that you can access it for that full 30 days. Plus, you can be running these reports and working with Jennifer and myself and your sales director over here at IAMS. So super excited for that. And then the other thing to notice is, we've worked with Kent for a long time. A lot of those academies that he's presented at, I've been there as well. And so, this is a tried and true program that we've got a lot of agents that are, they signed up for it 9 months ago, 12 months ago, and they're still utilizing it. And that means that they're finding value in it. There is, a small learning curve, but being able to copy, existing products over and then being able to update from that, it just continues to get easier and easier to get that information in. And ultimately, it's in about the amount of time that it would take you to, go read 3 or 4 emails and respond to them, you can put an entire case in. And so when we think about what you're doing with your clients and what's adding value, right? Think about, you go to your client, you present this to them, and then they're at the golf course, they're at the, church, they're at that wedding, and they're talking to all of their friends, and you've been able to completely differentiate and separate yourself from those other agents just by putting their information in, running a couple calculations, letting the knowledge and the information inside this program go out there and help them solve, which is the best index. And then again, zero's your hero is nice until you see 3 zeros in a row, and then, hey, the S&P was up 13% and my client got 2.5. Let's refinance those underperforming annuities. When interest rates go down, it makes sense to refinance your house. When interest rates go up, if you started an annuity at unfortunately the wrong time through no fault of your own, don't make them continue to just sit there and have to eat year after year bad performance. Realize that it is what it is, and that situation can be changed. And Alyzer and ReviewAlyzer is a great way to do that. So, Ken, it doesn't look like we had any other questions, so I'm going to give you a last chance to any follow-up comments, or if you had anything to add to what I just said.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, guys, going off of what Tim just said, when you look at, I love how he said that, refinance your annuity. Over on the AUM side of the business, the equity side, okay, it's all about managed everything. Everything's managed accounts, active management. We work inside your account. We watch your account. Well, index annuities need managed too, okay? And doing replacements, that is not a bad thing, okay? We've got all these bonus programs. That's something I didn't really show you, but if actually I'm going to show you because it's important. When you look at what product to use when you're going into the new annuity, we have a link here that shows you all the bonus products. You can pull it up and it shows you all the bonus products and how much the max surrender charge that they will offset is. So it gives you an idea of all the different products you can use. Guys, that's why they've created these bonus products, okay? I was just at a meeting not too long ago and I heard a carrier up on the stage say, we're expecting 80% of our apps in the next 12 months to be replacement apps. All right, the carriers are expecting this. They're lessening their suitability regs because they know that this is part of the business. Index annuities need managed just like AUM does, and this is the tool to do it. And one last thing, and he mentioned there's a learning curve. Every one of our programs has this little training link where you can actually go in and watch a video, and it shows how to use each program. So ReviewAlyzer is there. If you go into new business, go into Indexalyzer, you're going to see that same little training link up in the blue bar, or it's blue. It's actually blue there. So you hit training and you're going to get the training video. So you just turn that baby on and watch it, and it's going to be me walking through exactly how to use each of the programs. So we've hopefully thought of everything to make it easier for you to use our system.
Awesome. Yeah. And of note too, on those training videos, guys, and I don't know if I've gone through all of them, but the ones that I've gone through are all 3, 4, maybe 6-minute videos. It's going to get you in there. When I say a training or a learning curve, by that, I'm being candid. Like, you're going to have to put information into the system. The system's not going to just go out there and, do a live link to carrier X and then just put that in there. You're going to have to put in some work, but we've got the tools and the resources. They've made it even easier to get in there and be able to do that. So, Kent, Jennifer, I really appreciate you guys helping us out. We'll be reaching out to everybody. Oh, we've got one last poll here, and that is, would you like more information on Alyzer and the IM special pricing? So I'm going to go ahead and launch that poll. Definitely let us know. We'll get that link sent over to those who are looking for it first and foremost, and get that rocking and rolling for everybody there. So just about another 10 or 15 more seconds on this poll. Oh yeah, we're batting 100% right now, Kent. So I guess if, or 1,000, if we're in the major leagues, we'd be getting ready to punch our ticket to the Hall of Fame. So
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to end that poll. Thank you everybody for participating. Kent, thank you for the help with the webinar as well, and thank you too, Jennifer. Have a great afternoon, guys. Bye now.
Thank you.